culture. But what's your approach today? Is it how does one squad really work? What's the way you attack things? Is it OKRs? Is it JDBD, jobs to be done? Is it how do you get things into sprints, etc.?
Okay, so in terms of how we make decisions and work, OKRs, so quarterly OKRs are used to govern essentially the outcomes that the team is shooting towards. Those OKRs led up to our SME strategy. So we've got our SME strategy we start with. We then develop OKRs on a quarterly basis and an annual basis that we the strategy. And then what the team does is identifies the opportunities they think are best placed to move those OKRs, and essentially that then eventually translates, I can go into this in a bit more detail in a bit, but that eventually translates to a bunch of features they want to deliver. We then run a fortnightly cadence, which is essentially about, which includes a bunch of rituals, a planning meeting, a showcase. It's got some weekly planning to segment that up, and daily stand-ups.
Okay, so just ritual, is that a product word, or is that an Airwallex word, or is that a Seek word? Just a ritual.
I don't know where that's come from.
It's a Richard word, is it?
Maybe it's a Richard word, but we have we have a set of meetings that are essentially derive that fortnightly cadence, and that fortnightly cadence, essentially, when you put a bunch of those together, they're constantly trying to make progress towards those outcomes, those OKRs that we'd agreed at the start of the quarter.
Right, okay. All right, and is there one of those particular rituals that actually really matters a lot more than the others? Like which is the one that you must keep or must not miss? Or
in terms of the ones that are critical, look, I'm a really big fan of stand-up. I think stand-up's really critical to have that daily check-in, and as part of that, trying to ensure that the team is consistently focusing on the outcomes that we're trying to deliver. It's very, very easy to. My view is that if you're not disciplined around stand-up, it's very, very easy to kind of gradually veer off the path over the course of a fortnight. And if you have a goal at the start of that fortnightly cadence, so you're like at the start of the fortnight, you outline a goal. This is where we want to get to in 2 weeks' time. If you're not reinforcing that on a day-by-day basis, it's very easy to get to the end of the fortnight, kind of look back and go, "Oops, I'm not where I wanted to go. How did I end up here?" So I think so much of what is done in product development it's about collaboration and communication. And so much of it about it is just reinforcing the same message all the time. And we can get into this in terms of some of the lessons that I've learned over my career, but it's very, very easy for teams to veer off the path away from outcomes towards output. It's very easy to veer off the path of experimentation and uncertainty and trying to nail down something that is certain, which is in many cases, look at this shiny thing that I've built. And so trying to embed that into your day-to-day check-in with the team, I think is really important.
And so we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays for stand-ups. Our team's about 9, and so Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons we make sure we time it so that the offshores can be involved as well too. We used to, and this is a really interesting transition from a COVID perspective, was that we used to get together in a physical space and talk about things, and just by default we would exclude people that weren't in the time zone, and it was really bad. It was really culturally bad to do that. So we fixed that just by us being all remote, and it's improved communication a lot. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, are you saying that you're doing every day?
We do it every day.
Far out, okay.
Yeah, and on Monday we plan, and that includes, at the end of the planning, it's like, right, hang on, where are all the tickets, where are we at? But then Tuesdays to Fridays, there's a stand-up every day. Right. And this would, that's, I don't think I've ever worked in a team that hasn't had a stand-up every day. Right.
So we're lazy. We should be ashamed, deeply ashamed.
I don't know whether, we might have it wrong, right? Like,
who's doing daily stand-ups here? Everybody but me, okay. That's it. Team's in trouble. But, so that's an essential discipline for you in that situation. Do you find people now that, remote, that people are kind of drifting off and maybe they're just working on something else while they're listening to the other people talk? How do you actually make sure?
That's a major risk. And what people can do is they can put the screen that they want to work on in front of the camera and be looking at the camera or appearingly looking at the camera and doing work, right, and doing other stuff. That's a key issue. How do you get around that? The only way to get around it is teams really bought into the outcome they're trying to deliver and where the team's trying to head. Because when they are bought in, they are going to be paying attention because they know that paying attention in that moment is really important to helping the team achieve what the team wants to achieve. Yeah. So, I think in some respects, people's engagement in meetings in a virtual world is a really good gauge of the level of engagement your team has with you generally. I don't know. It'd be great if there was some way. It'd be a little bit creepy and it's invading privacy. But in some respects, if you could actually see what people were doing on their screens during meetings in a virtual environment, you've got a nice measure of engagement.
Yeah, it's interesting. Somebody's going to solve this sort of remote, body language thing as a way of understanding it. It'll probably be a Snapchat filter or something like that that'll do it.